Welcome back to our next episode of Watts and Drops. I'm Kirby Dolak of LCTV, and today we're back again with Nick Lawler, General Manager of the Littleton Electric Light and Water Department. Last episodes on Watts and Drops, we met with Nick on our pre-special town meeting episode on PFAS and the water treatment plans for our wells. Now today we're going to start a new series that's actually going to talk about the actual status of the plans, some of the activities and progress that's been made on various items that were approved in the October 2019 special town meeting. Nick, thanks very much for taking the time to brief the residents again on the status of the water articles since town meeting. We appreciate mostly how seriously you and your team takes the PFAS contaminants issues.
Great. Well, thanks for having me back, Kirby. I'm glad you said that, but the amount of support that we've gotten from the community and our board has helped us out tremendously to move forward vigilantly on this matter.
Right. So what's actually happened? We talk about it that at town meeting, Article 12, the selectmen, your board of commissioners basically had an appropriation borrowing and home rule petition for a water treatment facility that was approved by the necessary 2/3 vote of the residents that were in attendance. Can you provide us with what's happened since, well, 2 months ago, as it relates to any kind of possible Article 97 concerns?
Sure. 2/3, it was 94%.
Yeah.
Not that we were, keeping track of that. But again, that 94% meant a lot to our staff, that the town was behind the vision that they've been working really hard on, since the inception of this issue. So we took that and we started going through a process. It's kind of a multi-layered process to get that Article 97 land designation removed from the field and placed onto the where the wells are on that site across the street. The first step we needed support from the Conservation Commission, and they voted unanimously to support Article 97 removal of on that land on the field site. We need to send a letter to the EEA, Executive Office of Energy and Environmental Affairs,
okay,
which has been done. We've been working closely with the Secretary and her staff, really since probably August, or even before then actually. But
right.
Since PFAS really became an issue, we started working even closer with her on that. The selectmen have formally voted and petitioned the legislature, so that step is done. The legislature right now is in recess, so we're waiting for them to come back out of recess, and hopefully Senator Eldridge and Rep. Sierra will get moving on this. They both fully support the idea and the plan. Especially Senator Eldridge is very concerned about PFAS and water in general, so I'm sure he'll be behind it. Moving as quickly as possible.
Okay. Now, we know that the Littleton Water Department's been very busy getting the necessary design and construction agreements in place with a variety of engineering firms. Can you please explain who the engineering firms are and how each of the firms work together to solve that very complicated puzzle of expediting Littleton's PFAS water treatment?
Sure. I mean, that's a good point. That town meeting Article 12, wasn't just for the Article 97 piece of the project. There was also borrowing authorization, a part borrowing authorization for solving PFAS, both temporary and permanently. So we've been working with two firms for the most part. We started with Ty and Bond at Wickham Ave a while ago, when a year and a half ago.
When the original plans,
2 years ago, with the original plans. So we're sticking with them. They did a great job with the design. We've already invested design funding through them. So we're gonna continue working with them on the Wickham Ave treatment facility. It changes now, because now we're gonna be taking spec pond water and sending it to Wickham Ave. So the plant's gonna grow, it's gonna double in size for treatment capacity, not physical size.
Okay.
And now it's gonna have PFAS filtration there. So PFAS, we've been working closely with CDM Smith.
Okay.
So Ty and Bond will continue with the green sand filtration, which is the technology used to remove iron and manganese, and the CDM will design in what needs to be done to remove PFAS, and the two firms along with us will work together on how to put it all together. Then there's the transmission main that's going to carry the water from Spec Pond to Wickham Ave. That's being designed by Ty and Bond. and then CDM Smith is working on the temporary main going down Great Road to tie Beaver Brook wells to Speck Pond. Because our solution there was to blend the water in order to get below the 20 parts per trillion.
Right.
Which, probably should be mentioned that the DEP just drafted that regulation last week.
Oh, excellent.
Excellent, yeah.
Well, no, because we were both waiting
Yeah.
to see what they actually were going to do as far as
so
the amounts.
It is going to be the 20 parts per trillion.
Okay.
Now, they're in the public comment period, so nothing's finalized yet. Public comment period ends February 27th to 28th.
Okay.
So there's a process they have to follow before it becomes regulation. They've been fantastic to work with, and I'm hopeful that together, us and them can continue to, solve this problem.
Excellent. So we've seen a lot of activity over at the old Highway Department yard at Wickham Ave. What's the status of the demolition there, and what are the next steps that will occur that we want to make certain that the local residents and the abutters are made aware of?
Right, so I think the most visible thing that we've done there was take down the old highway garage, which both Chris Stoddard, myself, Board of Selectmen, and the Board of Water Commissioners worked very closely on trying to facilitate that building coming down,
Right.
Which was a good thing for the town.
Yep.
That building was dilapidated, it was an eyesore, was within our Zone 1, which is that protective area around the wells. So removing that was kind of the final piece. And I mean, for those that have been in town a long time,
Right.
I remember that's where Light and Water used to have their facilities as well.
Yeah, that beautiful building in there. I was kind of curious what was happening with that one.
Yeah, the brick building?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the brick building's going to stay. So before we get off the garage, the garage is down. They're going to come back loam and seed in the spring. Was obviously not a good time for loam and seed something. And then they are going to rip up some more impervious pavement, some of the more
Good. Right.
pavement that kind of leads back to one of the wells. And then right now we're replacing the existing well field and other well that's there.
So you've been drilling lately down there?
They've been drilling lately. We're trying to get as much of that project done as we can,
Right.
without wasting ratepayers' money, because it's always best to do it all at once.
Yes.
But unfortunately, some things have happened. We've been challenged by people in town that have not allowed us to move forward with our vision.
Okay.
So we're doing the pieces now that we can.
Okay.
In order to get things accomplished, in a financially responsible way.
Okay.
So we were going to drill the wells, because you can really drill the wells at any time. So that's happening right now. That should be done hopefully, or late winter. And then we're working on design now to tie those wells into the system. Now, we weren't going to originally do that because it made more sense to do it when we build the plant. But because of the PFAS issue, it makes sense,
You're expediting
because there's
that.
going to be increased capacity, so we're going to expedite that. Again, doing it in a manner that is best for the ratepayers in the long run.
Right.
That's all going to tie together in that brick building.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
So it'll be manifolded back there, and then it'll pump from there, eventually to a treatment plant, but for now, it'll pump from there to the system.
Oh, that's a great reuse of that building then.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right, so let's get back to the whole PFAS thing, my favorite chemistry piece. In true CSI fashion, is it possible for the water department to trace the source of those PFAS contaminants, and what's the process that might get used for that?
Yeah, we think so. We think that there's a way to find out more about the PFAS that's in our water. We've been cautioned by the DEP that, yeah, you might be able to, but it's not like a typical
You go sue
contaminant.
somebody.
No, not even about the sue. We'd like to get funding behind it.
Right, that's what I was getting to.
Part of it also is to know and to better understand what's in our water.
And prevent it from happening.
Prevent it from happening again,
Yeah.
and help. If we know what it is, it's easier to remove as well.
Right.
But these PFAS compounds kind of change over time. They never break down. Well, if they do break down, it's well after we're gone.
Right.
But they do morph a little bit. So we're not sure if we can do fingerprinting on it. But we're going to try.
Interesting.
It's a definite exercise worth going down. The DEP, so we hired CDM Smith to do fingerprinting.
Okay.
We're working with UMass Lowell and Secretary Theoharides, as well as Senator Eldridge, on a partnership that will the state will fund UMass Lowell to perform some work for us in a betterment for the whole process. So that they're gonna test a few things such as the effectiveness of in-home filtration.
Right.
One of the things that the DEP is struggling with right now, because there's no way to do it, it takes about 5 weeks to find out if PFAS is in the water. So you sample it, you send it to a lab, and it takes about 5 weeks from start to finish before you know if PFAS is present and what the levels are.
Okay.
Because they measure in parts per trillion, so it's not an easy thing to do.
Right.
Well, UMass Lowell thinks that they can develop a way to detect that on the spot.
Really?
So they're going to work on that, and then they're also going to work on fingerprinting.
Excellent.
And then the final part is the working with the Mass DEP. So the Mass DEP has been working with us and the town of Air on trying to find out. They wouldn't call it fingerprinting. They're trying to look. They're looking more for the hotspots of where the PFAS is coming from.
Okay.
Not necessarily, was it 3M, was it DuPont, is it fighting foam, is it consumable goods, they're looking more where is it coming from.
Okay. That's true. Interesting. All right. So, Water Department has been very concerned and very proactive about the safety of the residents' drinking supply. In fact, in past episodes, we did talk about residents that have private wells over in Speck Pond area. So how have the residents taken advantage of what you guys have been doing as far as knowledge and wisdom about PFAS?
We have a website dedicated right to it that has everything any document we have with PFAS we put up there to help educate the residents of the community. Corey Godfrey, our environmental analyst, has been receiving phone calls, and I urge any resident, if you have any concerns or questions, you're not bothering us.
Right.
That's what we're paid to answer the phone and to answer your concerns, and Corey wants to do that. He wants to help the residents.
So how many calls have you guys received? Is it like a large number when we first talked about it, or is it just sort of a steady?
It's probably around 100. But
really?
It happens when we have things that go out, whether it's a mailer, LCTV production. These will lead to people calling.
Right.
Which is why we're trying to inform, because if you're concerned, give us a call.
Right. Well, they can't say that you haven't been doing as much as you can to reach out.
And that's not just our customers. I think you mentioned the private wells.
Right.
People in the sensitive subgroup.
Right. Right. Speaking of that, so how should residents that fit into that PFAS sensitive subgroup work with you, work with the water department to assist with their specific situations? But first, please refresh us and the viewers about what those individuals are that fit into those PFAS sensitive subgroup.
Yep. There's really three types of people that fit the sensitive subgroup as defined by the the Mass DEP to the Mass CDC.
Right.
And that would be pregnant women,
Okay.
nursing mothers, and infants under the age of 1.
Okay.
And if you fit in that sensitive subgroup, again, call our office, ask the speaker Corey. If Corey's not there, they'll get to somebody that can.
Okay.
Every situation is obviously different. But we found that just through education, so Corey has a vast amount of knowledge in his head.
That's true.
So just through talking to him, you might learn something that alleviates those fears.
Okay. Okay. Now, talking about reaching out, we've been doing a lot of it here, obviously, but I understand that the water department is talking about hosting a public forum or community outreach forum to allow residents to get firsthand project status updates, as well as providing an opportunity for Q&A, which I think it's fantastic. But has the date or time or location for any of these outreach forums been set?
Yeah, we were shooting for January,
Okay.
to tell you the truth, but not enough has happened yet as far as getting the answers that we need to deliver to the public.
Okay.
So now we're shooting for maybe the beginning of February.
All right.
And when we get there, we want that, because it's going to be during a Saturday morning most likely.
Sure.
And people are going to take time out of their schedules to go there.
Sure.
We want it to be as informative as possible.
Right.
And we're hoping that by the time the first week of February comes around, we'll have all the answers that we need to inform the public and make that time very valuable.
Good. Good.
Another thing you could do is you could sign up. We have on our website, you can sign up for alerts.
Yep.
So that way, as stuff comes out, you'll get an email saying, please check our website. There's been a document added or information has changed.
And that's kind of where I was getting at, regular communication mechanisms. So you've talked about the website, you've talked about RSS feed, and then most recently we got this nice brochure from Watson Drops, and it was really focused just on what's going on and what's the status, and I think that's the best way to get the information out.
Yeah, our Watson Drops is every other month.
Right.
This is the most important thing that our staffs are dealing with. There's other things that we deal with, obviously, but we view this as a public health crisis. It's going to take over Watson Drops. It's going to be the lead article on every one until we're through this.
Right.
Which is going to be years before this is finally put to bed for our community. So that will continue to come out. There'll be mailings. If we have something that we need to get out to the public, there'll be mailings that are dedicated just to PFAS in our solutions.
Right.
The website will be updated. We've talked. We plan on coming in here. Probably about once a month.
Right.
I don't want these to become so mundane that it's the same thing over and over again. So I want to make sure we're giving new information, but there's going to be things happening quickly.
So you had mentioned, can residents sign up for email alerts on any changes, status, things along that line?
You can do it right through the website.
Okay.
If technology is not your thing, call our office. We'll put you on it.
Yeah, I was thinking this. We get those people that are on their phones all the time.
Yep.
But we do have the younger folks who are technology challenged.
Yes.
Like myself at times. All righty. So we want to thank Nick Lawler, General Manager of the LELWD, for coming in and providing us an update on the water treatment plants for dealing with PFAS contaminants in our public water supply. In our next episode of Watson Drops, we're going to be talking again with Corey Godfrey about the details of the treatment plans and any status updates that affect LELWD customers. Thanks for watching to see what's happening in LELWD, and happy holidays. Thanks for tuning in.